ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited. Actually, out of all my podcasts, excuse all the people I've interviewed before, I'm most excited about this particular podcast. And the lady I'm interviewing today is Anita Milovitz, correct? Milovats.
Almost.
Almost there. This subject is absolutely fascinating. And in some areas of the world, it's openly talked about. In some areas of the world that is talked about, but not so much in the open. And today I have the pleasure of having Anita here. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Anita to you all. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Dariush. I'm really feeling honored to be here today.
Thank you. It's taken me about, I think, almost 2 years to get you here now. So,
well, slowly sometimes does win the race.
yeah, exactly. And it's meant to be, right? So
It's
it's right time, right place. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Just to introduce you and what you do to the audience, please share with us what you do, what you specialize in, and from there we'll just take it.
All right. Well, I'm a sensual confidence expert, so I focus on helping especially women breaking free from insecurities in order to claim their powerfully feminine essence and become more confident in life. So I do this incorporating mind, body, soul, and energy through coaching, tantric healing, and dance therapy.
Amazing. All three. You have to have all three to qualify.
All three components, because we humans are not just the mind. We are consisting, especially for women, the body is our most important part. So we have to incorporate all of those elements in order to achieve a lasting transformation.
And it's mainly through dance.
Dance,
even if you have two left feet.
Even if you have two, it's not about the looks of it. It's not an audition for a huge video performance. It's more about the feeling and allowing yourself to actually drop into your body, because the body stores all the memories.
Wow, amazing. So going back a little bit to your childhood, you're from Croatia. We had a conversation. I thought your name was German. Obviously, I was wrong, and it's Croatian.
Yeah, so I'm actually from former Yugoslavia. Nowadays, It's obviously split. So my mom, Bosnian, my dad, Croatian, but they moved in the early 80s to Germany, and this is where we grew up.
Would that make you a Muslim?
No, back then my mom is a Catholic, but after the war it became very Islamic in Bosnia.
Yes.
Before that, it was quite mixed between Orthodox, Catholics.
Everybody got on.
Everybody got on,
Yes.
and today they do as well. But
Yes.
obviously, we had a phase in our civil war where that wasn't the case. No.
Crazy. Were you in the country during the Civil War? Or?
No. We were in Germany since the early 80s, so the war started.
Hence the German twang.
I have a lot of German twang, yeah.
So what brought you to Dubai, and how long have you been here?
My previous career, actually. So obviously I studied economics. Like most people in my generation, you study, you get a decent job. And I was working as an events manager in a corporate field. And my former boss sent me to Dubai to work on a project, to set it up, to be here for 4 months, and then to go back. And I somehow fell in love with the country, with the vibe.
How long ago was it?
That was 2008.
Oh, okay.
So a while ago.
It's approximately the same time as me. I came here 2009.
Yes,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And then you hit recession.
And then I hit the recession. I was welcomed. But it wasn't so bad for me, really, because that was kind of the initiator of me leaving the corporate world and starting to work on contract basis, still in events. And I kind of started enjoying the freedom that comes with it and the flexibility.
Hours suits you, contracts
Yes.
suits you, people you work with that you want to work with.
Yes, not the 9 to 5 grind, which is awesome. I mean, not judging it, but it wasn't for me
you.
anymore.
Sure.
And I just felt that's it. That's what I want to do.
In events.
In events at
So
that
when
time.
you decide to break, did you always have an interest in this line of work, or?
Yes, I was a professional dancer
Okay.
as well. So dancing was always part of my life, but I always wanted to do something to help people. And this sounds so cliche nowadays. Everyone wants that kind of. But for me, it was more like an inner calling. Like it wouldn't leave me alone. So 2014, we went to Bali. And this is when I flipped the switch, when everything changed, when I realized, no, I need to change my career. I need to do something different. And then I went into doing my coaching education.
So you've only been doing this 5 years, 5.5 years.
5.5 years, yes.
Wow, amazing.
Yes.
So do you mind if we're going to go a little bit more detail. One of the first questions I want to know is, do you have a partner, a male partner? Or a female, I don't know, you have a partner. I should be careful what I say now, because you're going to criticize me. Doesn't matter if it's a male, right? So,
I love women, but no, I'm not into women. Very
Okay.
different. No, I do not have a partner at the
okay.
moment.
Do you think, to me from a man's point of view, and I've seen some of your posts, do you think that, and I know it's the most common question you get asked, because that's why I want to face it first.
Yeah.
When men, speaking from a man's point of view, do you think a confident woman, and you come across as a very confident woman, makes them feel more insecure? Or do you think a real man rises? what's the response from a man when they meet a really confident woman?
You see, that's a very interesting question because it all depends on the perception of the man.
Okay.
We all perceive people and the world from our point of view. Now, if the man is naturally a lot in his masculine, in his natural masculine, and he's confident in who he is and has his shit together, so to speak, he will feel empowered by a woman like me. And he will want to know someone like that. And a strong woman behind a strong man, she will make him a king.
Wow.
She will. That's what a real man desires, a woman that will lift him up, that he can feel he can achieve everything.
So her behavior her confidence doesn't make him insecure because she's totally dedicated to the man.
Yes.
But her behavior is confident. She's centered.
Correct. She's centered, but also she is not needy. You know, for men, women are either an asset or a liability, and perhaps you can agree on that.
Yes.
So either she will drag you down and want all your attention in order to feel secure, or she will be secure and be in her power and in the same time lift you up as a man.
So when people connect, they become very powerful for us.
You become very powerful. It's called a power couple nowadays.
Wow. Now, a very confident woman externally attracts lots of men.
Attracts a lot of
Not necessarily in a relationship, but attracts lots of men.
Yes.
Okay. How does a confident woman decide which is the right man? And also, would a confident woman in a relationship get distracted by men who she attracts? Does that make sense?
Let's go first to the first question. So, how do I choose the right man? To be very honest, again, it goes back to the right feeling. There are a lot of men out there. And yes, we get approached a lot by all kinds of men. You can call them also often broken men, insecure men, because they feel attracted to the strong energy. And how you choose that is by obviously monitoring his behavior, his actions, if they are in coherence. You know, a lot of men, they will promise you the world, they will overflow you with compliments. But then when it comes to actually doing something, they're nowhere to be found. So his actions, his behavior, his energy, the way you are together, it has to match. You cannot just take one component and then say that's the man. It just has to fit.
One of the things I talk about and actually use is the interview in an interview process.
Yeah.
I say relationships are built in 20, 30 seconds.
Yes.
You can tell if you guys are going to get on or not.
Yeah.
But often you can manipulate it by asking really good questions, showing interest, smiling, and so when you meet someone or where your clients meet people, what are they looking for on a date, for instance? Are they constantly analyzing the guy, or is he just being monitored, or is it a natural thing? What do you teach them?
Well, it depends. Are you looking for a partner or are you looking just for fun? So this is already the
Why
big
can't it be both?
It
Because
can.
it really pisses me off when I see people saying, I want a serious relationship. I'm like, why does your relationship have to be serious? Right? True, it's true, isn't it? Why does it have to be a serious relationship? What can be? I want a fun relationship. I want a spontaneous relationship. I want it to be amazing relationship. So,
Yeah, but serious doesn't equal boring, doesn't equal like stressful. No, when I talk about serious, I mean a real partner, like you are
I
in a
didn't say
partnership.
serious. I said it. I just see it in
Yeah.
people saying, I'm looking for a serious relationship. I'm like,
It's perhaps a bit of a heavy wording. Like I would never go out there and say, well, I'm looking for a serious relationship. No, what I usually do, the way I do it, it's I like you very much. Let's see how it goes. This is my favorite statement. No pressure on your side, no pressure on the side
you
of the
don't
guy.
give them a time scale.
No,
Like,
I don't.
You have an hour
No.
or 1 week. From
And-
my experience,
You know, people, and there is a book written by Dr. Bruce Lipton, it's called The Honeymoon Effect. And this book,
may I write it?
yes, of course. This book, he talks about when two people meet, it's your conscious mind is meeting and your subconscious mind. So it's actually 4 minds meeting together in one date. Can you imagine?
All these conversations going on.
All of this, all of your trauma, everything you have is stored in your subconscious. Now, in the beginning, you show your best face, right? We're wearing the rose-colored glasses, we are in love. But
You
then
smell good, you turn up on time,
all of that.
the car is clean.
he brings you flowers and gifts.
When you
he
go
does
home,
all
the
of
socks are
this.
put away,
Yes,
clean underwear.
Exactly. But then, of course, after 6 months, approximately,
6 months.
Yes,
Weeks.
This honeymoon phase fades away. So what happens is the subconscious behavior starts kicking in.
Yes.
You feel secure. This is when people suddenly start to say, what are these behaviors coming from? I don't know you like that. I haven't met you like that. But actually, they were all along this
There.
person. It's just they were more operating out of their
And
consciousness.
the other person didn't see it. They chose not to see it. They were tunneled, right?
They were tunneled, but also, you know, it's some people want to fall in love with the potential rather than with the actual person. A lot of us do that. So you really have to take all of these aspects of
And then they
someone.
portray that potential on the face of that person that they're with now.
That they're with now.
And then they often fail them because they can't live up to that expectation.
It was a doomed project from the beginning. You can't do that. You have to accept the person for who they are.
I know someone, I tell this person it's a female, and I say to
Yeah.
them, you know, like, you're very attractive, you're beautiful, but you're going to go in and out of a relationship because you're always looking for the honeymoon period.
Exactly.
And the freaking honeymoon period ends.
It
You know, you
does.
can have amazing sex, you can have an amazing relationship, but after 3 months, you're looking for the next injection of.
Possibly, unless you're really in love with life and with yourself, then you can extend that period. Because what happens when we are in love?
But they're not with themselves. So what happens? They get bored, they find reasons to terminate, and then looking for the next honeymoon.
That can be possible if what you wanted wasn't what you really wanted in the first place.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's turn it around. I haven't even, I've got a list of questions. I haven't started with one yet. A man meets a confident woman on a date. Okay. How should they behave? I know you can't be specific and you can't be too general. How would they behave? Like, I remember I'm Iranian born, and on my first date in England, I bought this lady a bouquet of flowers, and I opened the doors for her, and she was like, "You're weird." People don't do that in England. So I was like, okay, then it's a cheap date. But I got educated not to do that because it was just creepy, right? But in Iran, this is what men do. And then a couple of months ago, we met some Brazilians, and he would pull the chair for his wife and do that. I was like, I should do that again because I hadn't done that for a while. I got coached out of it.
This is actually a big topic for a whole podcast itself, and I love that you address it because I think this is one of the negative side effects of feminism. There is a big difference between being feminine and being a feminist, and women became so independent, right? We don't need men anymore, financially, emotionally. We can really pretty much do everything ourselves. But is this really what we want? Is this really our nature? Like, it's sad that men get coached out of being a gentleman, right? Of bringing flowers, of paying on a first date, of just being themselves. Like, we have demasculated men in many ways. That's why men, especially when they see a confident woman, they don't know anymore what to do. What is right? What is wrong? If they do those beautiful things that you did, you get shamed for doing this.
Yes.
But this is actually natural.
I felt so good.
Yes.
I felt so good buying if I've seen a smile on her face when she saw those flowers. So
that can happen. That can happen. You can, even men, we don't give men enough credit nowadays. There is so much empowerment for women, but not so much for men. For men, there's a lot when it comes to personal development and career, but when it comes for them to being in their masculine, to also allow and incorporate and integrate their emotional self, then there is not much there. And,
agree.
And so
and
men
we taught to speak to mates, speak to other men. I mean, what qualifies my friend to be, what does he know about women? What does he know about relationships? Yeah, who is he being coached by since childhood?
Exactly, but men are also natural competitors. So even if men are in a circle with one another and they want to speak about issues, there is always this thought in the back of your mind: how will they perceive me? Am I going to be called, certain ways, like you're not a man, man up? These are the usual terms we throw around. Man up. And this is a very strong word. What does it even mean for each person to be, like for each man to be a man? What does it mean? Just because you are vulnerable doesn't make you any less of a man. Just because you love somebody and want to do something for them doesn't make you less of a man. That's actually your natural archetype.
I love that. Yeah, because I cry, yes, but I can fight battles. I can fight. I'm not trying to sell myself to the audience here. No, just like, and sometimes I'm criticized being a bit soft because I can cry or get emotional. Yeah, and I'm proud of the way it is. When I speak to other men and maybe I'm confronting them and they hide.
Yes.
Yes. And I was like, be a man, come and confront me. Argue back, don't hide, don't block, don't run. Yes, answer the question, deal with it. And I don't know what's happened to the universe, but I really think as man's species go, there should be more men out there, right?
And there are, but it requires a man to be really conscious of himself, of his own masculinity, and of his own femininity, because both men and women have masculine and feminine polarities within them. So it is also beneficial for men to incorporate more their feminine essence. which is being vulnerable, allowing also their emotions to deal with, but in the same time, go out there, fight, do what you want to do because it is who you are.
I have 65 to 70% male audience. So my questions are male relevant. What would you say would be the top 5 for our listeners to become alpha males or real secure males? What would the top 5 behaviors be?
Behaviors in terms of emotional behavior, or
And
just,
you know, when you meet someone and you're thinking, okay, he knows, for instance, he knows what he wants in life.
yeah,
Okay, he's focused. That's one behavior.
yeah, okay,
That
goal oriented, yeah. A man that is confident that exudes confidence. And when we talk about confidence, confidence stems from the Latin word confidere and means to trust. So in its basic
he
terms,
trusts in himself.
yes,
Wow.
in its basic terms, confidence is the trust in yourself.
Wow.
So if you lack confidence, you lack that trust.
Does trust in yourself mean, like, for instance, you say, I'm going to exercise every day at 7 o'clock. You just do it.
You just do it, yes.
You don't do 7 and then 8 and then nothing and then another 7, because that doesn't show you are trusting in yourself, right? Am I
Correct. But also being courageous in going after what you want in life. Because courage, again, stems from the French word le coeur, which is from the heart.
Wow.
So being courageous, trusting in yourself, being courageous equals confidence.
I love that.
It's like those 2 basic pillars, right? It
Wow.
requires trust to go after something unknown. It requires courage to do something you've never done. And even if you fail, which is just failure doesn't
It's
really
feedback.
exist, it's feedback, then you know you can handle a situation, you keep moving forward, you dust yourself off. So going back to your question of those five things, I would definitely say, yeah, confidence, focus. Your words have to match your actions. This is number one. You have to be a man of your words. Like, this is, for me personally, one of the most important things, whether it's in your private life, in your business, anywhere. Because how you are in private, usually you are in business as well. Wow. Right? Mm-hmm. Then also a man who can stand up to what he feels, who's not scared, who's not scared to do that. And a man who has humor and takes life with ease. A lot of men I meet nowadays, there's a lot of heaviness around them because you have so much responsibility.
It's right from as a child.
As a child already.
You have to support, you have to provide.
You have to support, you have to provide, you have to have your shit together. And if you don't, you are perceived a certain way. It creates a lot of pressure on men. So if you are struggling to actually have all of that, you feel like a loser.
And if you express yourself, you're a pussy.
Pretty much.
So just
pretty
take
much.
it. There's so much
Yes.
suicide, isn't there, in men these days? It's increasing massively.
It's more in men. It's unfortunately more in men, yeah. Because exactly, they have never learned to deal with these emotions. And emotions are stuck somewhere in your body and they can create disease, literally.
Yes, heart attacks, cancer.
That's why so many men die from heart attacks sooner as well.
So true. Yeah. I've already had one. 11 years ago.
Bless you.
Yeah, with stress. I was 15 kilos lighter than I am today. I was a semi-professional squash player and I had a heart attack in the gym. Wow. So it was stress. It was stress. So I'm blessed to be here.
We are all glad you are here.
And, you know, sometimes you need to have something like that for you to appreciate life. And they say, why are you smiling? I said, because I'm breathing.
Exactly.
Before that, I just took it for granted. You know, I had stents put in my heart, and they were doing the surgery while I was watching it on television. And I was like, God, I'm not Superman.
Yeah.
Really, I could just see my heart this, and they were putting this balloon in there, and it was just fascinating, amazing.
It's amazing because, you know, we all know life is short. We all know that. Yes. But nobody really lives by it. And I can tell from my experience and from myself, people who have faced death, whether by them.
Faced death?
I did not, but my mom. So when
is she with us?
No more. But I was there. We were there during the process. So that's why I said
that she didn't come back from. She unfortunately passed.
She was sick. Okay. She was sick for 2 years. She had leukemia, and suddenly just was there. Nobody really knows how leukemia occurs. They do know the biological process somehow, but not the real reasons. And so I was her first donor for her first bone marrow transplant, but for the second because it came back. So during the process of her death, we were allowed, and they say souls usually don't allow others to be there when they pass on. Mm-hmm. Our mom did allow us. So
you have siblings?
Yes, I have a sister. Yes, so we were like all the closest.
She's a second donor.
She's a second donor. She's my younger one. Mm-hmm.
This donation, did it make your life last longer?
My life or hers?
Her life.
Hers, yes. I saved her
Oh.
life actually because it was so acute. They couldn't find a donor quick enough, and they tested a few of us in the family, but I was the one with the highest percentage. So luckily, she was able to live a year longer, even longer than they expected. They gave her a life expectancy of 3-4 months.
Wow.
And it lasted a year, but then the cancer came back, and she had a second donor, which was 100% donor,
Wow.
but that
It's
didn't
too
go
late.
didn't
It's
go
gone
well.
too far.
There were like just complications, and so going back to the process, when you feel the soul leaving the body, you feel it, you don't see it physically, but I felt the air. It's like someone is blowing in my face, and we all had the same experience.
But the hair is standing there.
Yes, and literally, Dariush, her body was just 2 minutes after, like this table, stone. So you realize that this body of ours is literally nothing more than an avatar.
You really believe that, yes? You've seen it, you've witnessed it.
I've witnessed it. I speak from my own experience, and maybe people who, like doctors or others who have experienced that can agree with me. I think it's hard for people who have never experienced that. But it changes everything. It
Were
changes
you
your
happy for her
perception.
then when you felt the soul leave?
So much love, so much peace, so much just gratitude for her that she was my mom, so much happiness for her that she's released of the pain, that she's free, and that she can finally, live without all of that. And it's incredible how powerful the soul is. I truly believe that the soul is who we are eternally, and our facade changes with each lifetime. So
Do you think the soul keeps coming back in different bodies?
my personal belief, yes.
We keep learning, we keep growing.
I don't believe we are here to just pay bills and die. That would be very
hope
sad.
The only sad thing is we leave some loved ones behind, we have to start all over again.
But if you look from it from a soul perspective, it's a bit easier to deal with it. My spirituality, my personal one, helped me really to deal with it. I'm not saying it wasn't hard. It was very hard. But it helps you to look at it from a different point of view.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long ago was this?
She passed 2017.
Wow, recently.
Yes, that's so long ago. So
God bless her soul.
thank you.
I'm sure she's very proud, looking down on you, very, very proud of you. So.
I hope.
Do you know, being self-employed, and you are self-employed, you don't have a company, it's not easy.
No.
There's ups, there's downs, but the way you come across, your confidence oozes. It looks like nothing bothers you. Is that show?
No,
Or how do
nothing.
you deal with it?
Nothing I do is show. I don't believe in this. I don't have time for showing. I don't have time for pretending to be someone I'm not. So I always say people either resonate with me or they don't. I wasn't born to please every single person on this planet, and nobody is. We shouldn't thrive for something like that. The reason why I am the way I am today is because after my mom's death, I started building up my coaching career. And going back home, I lost all my savings at that time. I had to build myself up literally on all levels. I split from my ex-fiancé. So can you imagine? Relationship gone, mother gone, money gone, everything gone. And you have to start from scratch.
Yes.
And you have to be on camera and pretend like your world is super good while it was crashing down. And and I had to do a lot of inner self work, shadow work. I had to confront my own demons.
Yes.
And doing all of this has helped me to understand how powerful we are, that we can do really all of that. I mean, when people talk about the success stories, it's not just fluff. It really doesn't always take you to be on the ground to get
But
up.
you're quite private, so mine is
Yeah.
more, more open because I have a company. But as a
Yeah.
private person, you've got to have some internal conversations going on, right? You
Oh,
look in
yeah.
the mirror and you got to say, I'm proud of you.
I do that. I do that. You look, in life, you always have a choice. Are you going forward or are you going back? Where are you heading to? What do you want to achieve? What is your goal? And for me, it was never an option to go back.
Have you always been driven, or since 3 years ago you got more?
I've always been driven, but I didn't have the tools. I wasn't self-aware enough. I was easy, not manipulated by others, but put down by
Distracted,
others,
maybe.
distracted. And also, growing up, my dad was a very strict Balkan man, like, stop dreaming, my daughter, you have to do this and this. My dreams were shut down a lot.
Is he still with us?
Yes, he is. He's awesome. But he was a strict Balkan dad. So I used to grow up with a lot of restrictions, and my fantasies were too wild for him because I never wanted what everyone else wanted in my age. I was always like
Outside
of the box.
yeah.
Which he loved, but also didn't understand.
And he probably thought it was just a dream, right? He didn't
Yes.
think you would follow up, you would take action. So when he
Yes.
did, he was like, oh shit.
She's
she
like,
meant
what the
it."
hell
Yeah.
is she doing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's normal because, your parents have certain ideas for your children, but your children have ideas for themselves. So, yeah, it is a lot of work on yourself, but the more conscious you become, the harder lessons you even receive, it humbles you. I have become more humble than I ever was in my life through all of that.
I think through this podcast, you will definitely come across that way. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
before I was quite scared. Before you
Really?
came, yeah, I was like, she's going to walk all over me here and make
Oh
me look so silly. Yeah,
no.
seriously. So, no, the Anita sitting in front of me is a really humble person, not the one I imagined that you come through. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, we're gonna use the word sex.
Yes,
Okay.
finally.
It's the most natural thing in the world, isn't it? Because there are people having sex all over the world, irrespective of how wealthy they are, where they're born, because kids are born all the time, right? So, why is this? I find, because I'm in the business of money, I find people get very emotional when I talk about money. And I think another one is religion, and possibly I would say third one is sex, or not in that particular order, but sex would probably be a very volatile and sensitive subject.
Therefore, that people are very weird about, which is religion. Religion is perhaps one, you can look at it that way, but it's money, it's sex, and it's death. Sitting
Death
around.
we avoid.
Those three topics.
We avoid talking about death
We
until you get
avoid-
older. Yeah.
But you know, when you avoid talking about something, you make it a secret. You make it, you imply it's something wrong with it. It's not. Sexual energy and money energy are combined. They're one. That's why a lot of really successful people, they have a high sex drive.
sex, yes.
And vice versa. It is connected.
Napoleon Hill talks about that. Have you read the book?
Of course. Think and Grow Rich. Yes.
Absolutely. He talks about focused sexual energy.
Yes.
Right? So there's men out there who are highly sex, but they have sex with lots of different partners. Now, does that mean they're dispersing their energy?
Yes.
Could you?
Yes, I will elaborate on that. So obviously, as we know, everything is energy, and sexual energy takes up a third of our entire body energy. So in Taoism, they divide obviously in three parts. So 1/3 is stored in the kidneys because it has to flush out toxins and to keep us alive. 1/3 in our sexual energy. Why? Because it creates life. And the remaining 1/3 are stored throughout our body to keep it going.
Wow.
So 1/3 is only sexual energy. This is so powerful. Imagine what happens.
All that for 30 seconds.
But what happens
That
to
was a
you?
joke,
What
right?
happens to you throughout climax? What happens? Your prefrontal cortex
Elevated
shuts
and
down. Yes, the part of your brain that's there for your logical thinking and behavior just shuts down.
yeah.
You're like out of control for those seconds. So this is this power. And if you direct it, like every energy, it has to be directed in order to be used properly.
So people have to hold back.
It's holding back, but through the breath. So for women, for example, our orgasms energize us because it goes inwards. So when we orgasm, the orgasm goes inwards and circulates around our body. For men, through ejaculation, it goes outwards. So it depletes you. Top athletes are asked not to have sexual interaction one night before their performance.
Right.
Why? Because it depletes their body energy. So what you do is obviously you store it. Like, so if you, there is obviously in tantric, especially healing, and in our tantric tradition, man has to actually orgasm without ejaculation if he doesn't want to have children. That's used usually once they already have kids or if they don't want to have them. And that's very hard for men to do. Very hard. You know, even the holding the sperm and extending the orgasm, delaying it, can help you because a man can come within 5 seconds.
The challenge is that the partner, the female partner, may think they're not satisfying the men, right? Because
Yes.
they're not
Yes. but-
ejaculating. So
Yes.
and the man, I'm not going from personal experience, but the man could say, I'm actually enjoying the process.
Yes.
Right? The process, the beautiful part. So trust the fact that I'm enjoying the process. I don't have to
No.
ejaculate.
No. And as men and women, you can work with the energy, with the breath work. And the more you do that, the more you connect to your partner and the more you feel each other's energy through that. And you can feel when the man is about to come even before he feels it, literally, and vice versa. It's all energy. Energy is felt, not seen. So, and then you can work with this and prolong it and prolong it. And then when you reach the climax, it's something out of this world. Number one, it's 30 times more intense. And the stillness that follows afterwards is literally like meditation.
I went on several courses and I was told that one thing I didn't think about sex was boundaries. People don't talk about boundaries because the trust is important in sex, isn't it?
Yes.
Especially in women. They have to trust the man so they can let go. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
And then the man mustn't obviously abuse that trust. But then I never thought about setting boundaries before making love. Is there a difference in making love and sex?
Well, in general, for men and
I
women.
have to be careful what I say, right? Because
No. I mean, there is a difference, but also not. So, nature had a very clever way for us women in particular to combine our sexual organs with our brain. So, the moment we are sexual with a partner, whether it's just a hookup or our partner, our brain releases the bonding hormone oxytocin, which makes or increases in us the feeling of attachment, of love, of wanting to be with this person. It's a natural mating strategy, which makes it difficult for us to just have hookups. So it's really hard for
so
women.
if a woman does have hookups, does that make them like? What does that make them?
Well, they either are able to control it very well because they're not ready for a partnership, and that's, or they just been brokenhearted by somebody and they just want to have fun.
Revenge or
Or
something.
revenge. Women have different reasons why they do that, and they're not necessarily
But
wrong.
the brain has to justify it. That's the thing.
The brain
in a
has
woman,
to
because
justify.
it's attached.
Yes, because it's all attached. You have to imagine our nervous system controls our sexual activity, and our nervous system is part, like our brain is part of it, and our pelvic floor, and our spine. So it's all connected. Nothing is ever separate from one another. So that's why when they say sex is mental, it's true.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely true because the hormones come obviously from our brain and are transmitted, through the spine into our pelvic floor, like serotonin, dopamine.
So maybe if a woman does have hookups, maybe deep down inside, subconsciously, they're looking for a partner, maybe, or they're just going through a process.
It can be a process personally, and I'm sure a lot of women might not agree with me.
You
but
can't
if
generalize
you can never generalize. So we are talking about certain aspects
Behaviors.
here. Behaviors. I believe in general, women, our nature is to bond. It's just the nature of the feminine. It is to bond. It is to be close with someone, to build a home, not just in a physical way, but in our energetical way as well. So we can do that for a while, but we can't do that like men for years. Only that, have multiple partners for us. There is one big difference in women dating different men, which is important to keep your emotions at bay and lean back in your feminine.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean you have to sleep with all of those men. While men can do that, men can easily detach from a woman. Again, not every man. Some men
May I
also
ask you,
do
sorry,
that.
before we go to the men bit?
Yes.
Drinking, for instance.
Yeah.
If people say, "Oh, I had sex with him, whatever, because I just loosened, I drank." Okay, that's not an excuse, is it?
It's not an excuse because there's a whole process involved before you actually have sex with someone. It's not like you see someone, you start banging,
Exactly.
right? So you have to have a conversation. So there's already a brain function working where you're like, thought process.
Does drink like loosen up? I heard this. Oh, the drink loosens me or
It
relaxes.
loosens because the wall drops, the resistance drops, especially when someone perhaps is not secure, doesn't feel confident enough, or just, in general is not so keen on things like that. When they drink, they're becoming more themselves.
More themselves.
More themselves. That's
Yes.
what alcohol
They're not
does.
becoming somebody else. They're becoming more themselves.
More than themselves. That's
The
why they
walls
say
drop, yeah.
alcohol doesn't bring out the worst in you.
Brings
It
you-
brings out the real. It's just like money. When they say people that are rich are evil, money is not evil. Money just brings out who you were all along.
I said that on a post. You see a post I did last week. I said good people do, when they get money, they do great things with it. Bad people do bad things with money.
Yeah, absolutely. But money just is. Money
Exactly.
isn't good or bad. It's the people that do the things in money. It's the same with alcohol. Alcohol just is. It's hard for us to grasp that things just are what they are. We give it meaning. It's the meaning making process. So when we take alcohol, just any other kind of drug or ayahuasca, whatever you can take.
Have you had ayahuasca?
I want to do it.
I'm going to have it done.
I
I'm going to
do
have it. And when this COVID is over, I'm going to Peru. I was
that's-
watching it on
yes,
Netflix last night.
That's what I want to do. I want to go to Peru to the shaman store.
Yes, it was in a shaman in a tent. And the guy was going through a 4-stage process. He started lighter, deeper, and it was incredible.
You have to be, what I love about the shamans is that they pick. You have to have a certain level of consciousness to be able to do that. And obviously also
And they monitor you also
Yes.
through the process. And there's people there to help you and guide you just in case.
It's a psychedelic. It opens up the portal to other realms.
DMT?
DMT.
DMT.
DMT is, yeah, exactly.
And
So
this plant extracts the DMT more than any other, anything in the world.
anything else,
Yeah, so it
correct.
purifies the
It
DMT.
purifies. That's why you have to purify your body before that to be able to hold that energy. So as you can see, it's, we can only perceive consciously with our 5 senses 1% of what's in this world. And the rest is remain unseen, only felt. So
It's amazing how creative you can be
So much.
when you're there. I mean, Dubai, I can't say anything, but it's incredible. Incredible. And if you look at like artists, they're either smoking joint a lot or LSD or microdosing, because I really see that you go to a next level and you can create things, ideas, music, dance.
It's exactly. You can do so many things because you just tap into that creative power. Where is creativity stored? In your sacral chakra, in your sexual energy. Sexual energy is creativity, creation. What are you birthing? Are we birthing, of course, babies? Yes, we birth babies, but what are we birthing other than that? What projects, what dreams? There's so much power and people are not aware of this.
Shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're discussing men. Sorry, I apologize. I went to the way. So then there's ejaculation of men, right?
Yes.
They're releasing it. Right. So enlighten us, please.
Yes, so exactly.
Good
So
old man.
men,
There's 60% of people go, yeah, go, what would take you so long? Tell me.
so as I said, men ejaculate outwards, so the energy goes outward, it depletes you. So, but also you pick up as men, just as women, the sexual energy of your partner. You pick up. So if you're sleeping with multiple women who are low vibrational, just because they're hot, they're sexy, they're what you want, it brings out the hunter instinct, but you're not mindful who she actually is, then you pick up that energy. There is a saying that too many women can be a downfall of every man.
Yeah.
And that's like really energetically, it couldn't be more to the point than it is. It
I've
is
seen very
powerful.
successful men who have really few women on the go.
Yeah, but what kind of women are they usually? I'm not talking about
Often a wife and it's,
yeah. But they
couple
have a
people they carry.
wife. The wife is their backbone.
Wow.
The wife is the one.
And the other women are actually soaking up negative energy. Am I correct in saying that? Because am I not?
Soaking
right?
up?
No, what's the word? Attracting negativity from him, right? Or is it the other way around? Oh, he saps their energy. How does it work?
Vice versa. Usually we women, because our womb is obviously our space holder, our major point of our body for women is our womb. Just like the black hole in the universe births galaxies, we birth life. So we are the ones who are storing that.
So it's not good energy if he's married to somebody else and sleeping with you on the side.
It's never a good energy, simply for the reason that it depends on who you are. If you're okay to be number two for someone, go for it.
It just be economics.
It's economics, if you're with him because he gives you certain benefits, knock yourself out.
But it's not totally fulfilling.
But it's never fulfilling. I mean, who wants to be number two, number three, number four? Don't you want to be number one for somebody? And I'm not judging. This is not a judgment to anyone. Everyone is free to do whatever they want. But we have to also, be conscious about the energy, what we are doing, what we are giving out, and what we are receiving. And you have to imagine it as a spiritual gangbang. All right? So because if you're sleeping with someone, and this person holds the energy of their other partner, this partner holds the energy of their partners, and so on and so forth we go. I mean, it's crazy.
How much energy do we hold?
I would lie if I would know the answer for that. But you will feel it. You will feel the energy if it's negative. You will be depleted. You will feel low. You will feel sad, tired, depressed. You will not be uplifted. You can feel it. So if you're with someone is either your anchor or your engine. So if someone holds you down, if once they leave, you feel drained, you just don't feel good, and it takes you days to lift yourself up, you know this person is an anchor because their energy doesn't lift you up. But if it's the opposite, then you know you're with someone who holds good energy, whether it's for one night or 3 months or a real life partner, it doesn't matter. If it makes you feel good, if your spirits are lifted, then it's a good, compatible energy
So when you
exchange
meet
for you.
your life partner, it's a woman or a man that you want to be sexually active with most of the time, right? You don't want to be sexually active and then 1 week nothing and another. Am I right? Or that physical act isn't everything?
It is not everything, but for me personally, and I must say again, for me, sex is very important. And there's usually a saying, when sex leaves the house, the relationship is over. Sex is the last thing that goes. And in sex, you can see if the couple has relationship problems or not. And I know a lot of women, and I'm not sure if they're really honest to themselves, or maybe they don't need it because we all have a different level of sexual energy. Some don't need much, whereas others need a lot. That's why we have nymphomaniacs and stuff like that, right? But it's also an addiction, which is another conversation to be had. But
this is part one, by the way. I'm enjoying this.
Yes, so
Normally you'll charge me for this lesson, so I'm getting it for free. So
yes,
that's
but obviously they are more in depth and very personal.
Yes.
We are talking here about
Of
general components, and people will have different opinions on that, right? But I'm always talking about my professional with my clients and from myself. And this sexual energy, whether you want to be a lot intimate with your partner or not, it's up to you too. But you have to find someone who's sexually compatible with you. Meaning, if you have as a woman a very low sex drive and a man has a very high one, it's never going to work. He will cheat if you can't meet his expectations, and vice versa. And women, because we are so created to bond, to be with someone, even if we have a high sex drive, we can easily pretend that it's not so important if the man has a lower one, that it's okay, sex is not so important. It's more important how we are.
The compromise.
The compromise, but what are you really doing? Like, is it
What
really
do they do?
what you
What
want?
do they do? They love the man, but can't perform.
They don't. What they really do is hold on to something, and they just exchange their priorities.
They just settle.
It's a lot of times settling. I mean, for me personally, it's settle. And yes, sex fluctuates. You can't say you will have every week for 20 years, everyday sex. No, sometimes you have more, sometimes you have less. And of course, there's life things happening. You're not always in the mood. These are normal things. But if you in general want someone who has your sex drive and he doesn't, for him sex is not important, if you don't struggle with that and if you're really honest with yourself, you're okay. But if you're lying to yourself and you know when you are, you got to ask yourself some really serious questions and not settle for less.
See, the problem is that people will actually say, well, sex is not that important. They start talking themselves out of it, right? They talk about, well, home, we got a home, we got this, we got kids, we got that, and they make excuses to remain, and be unfulfilled.
Well, we are not monks. So if someone says sex is not so important, okay, try to remove sexual energy out of your life. You're not removing the act, you're removing your creativity, you're removing your potential for manifestation, you're removing creation, your ability to create in life. All of this is sexual energy. It's not just the act, the physical
So
act.
how does a man control, let's say you have lots of highly sex men listening and watching, and they how much sex is good and how much isn't? How can they divert that energy into the work? And because I know acquaintances who go for happy massages, or they pay per hour or something like this, and I think it's just, what are you saying to the universe? And that's my thought. I mean, what are you saying to the universe? That I'm not good enough, so I have to exchange finances for this service? So I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it. It's just that I don't do it because I think that's just belittling me subconsciously. If that makes sense.
Well, it's one of the oldest professions in this world. I mean, let's not lie. It has been around forever. And I think in some cases,
It's needed.
It's needed. It has decreased rape scenarios to a huge extent in many cultures.
Yes.
And there is nothing wrong
But
with
what
that.
do women think about the men, though? They think, if I was in that profession as a woman, I'd be like, I want to have high regards for men.
You see, I have actually met someone who works, and I was really curious because I don't judge these women as opposed to many other women. But a lot of women judge those women. I don't. They have a background, they have a history, they have a reason why they do what they do. And they say for them it's really just a job. They are able, what usually men do is to switch off. They're just able to shut down.
Wow.
And they say they have all kinds of men coming. They have happy married men who just want to change the sauce that they usually always use with their spaghetti, whatever. They have very successful men who have such a high sex drive, they just need to release it. And they have men who can't find anybody, who are not lucky in the dating scene, maybe because of certain attitudes, of looks, there are different reasons. Sure. And they can't find a woman, so they go there.
And there's some men who just want to talk.
And some men just want to talk.
Actually, sex doesn't happen in that hour.
Yes, some men just want to talk, true. So
when I hear that, it breaks my heart. It really does.
Yeah, it's just what I'm saying. Men need love just as much as women do. They need the love, and I don't want to hear anyone saying the opposite, because it's not possible. And when men have a very high sex drive, you can control it by focusing on the energy. You can breathe into that feeling of arousal, into your libido, which is very strong, obviously. And you can use that, pull it up with your breath, your spine, and exhale it circulating around your body.
Wow, because it's too easy to just...
It's easy to deplete it, to release. It's not, use this energy and let it surround you literally like a bubble. and you will feel it, like it will take up your body. We will have goosebumps everywhere. And then don't just go out there, release it either sexually, do sports, but use it for creation. Create whatever it means for you to create. Even when you do sports, it's a form of release.
It is.
And you need that
exertion
release.
of energy.
Yeah, and you need that release sometimes, but more so practice. This is a practice.
So one is awareness. You got to be aware of the way you're feeling,
Yes.
the energy within you.
Yes.
And then two is that you got to practice so it becomes permanent.
Of course, it's like a muscle. You don't go to the gym once a year and you expect to be super fit. You go regularly, and that's the same thing with sexual energy. You have to understand its power beyond of what you think and know it is.
Yes.
And you have to understand your own sexual power, your drive.
Honestly, I think you'd be a billionaire coaching men.
Honestly, that's exactly what I said to my friend the other day.
I swear.
I
If we position you right,
Yeah.
it comes across the right way. We position you will be packed.
Yeah.
And also couples.
I am actually
Couples.
looking into that seriously, into couples and into
If I
men.
can help you on the business side, I'm more than happy to do so. Because I think we can help a lot of people out there.
And I
Because there's
would
some
love that.
unsaid communication out there.
Answered communications, blocked emotions, frustration, and you see people that are full of love, even for one another, not being able to express it and carrying resentment and anger. And things are not complicated, Dariush. You know, we have this perception that life is hard, life is difficult, relationships are complicated. Freaking how? Why is it complicated? Can it not
Should
just
flow
be? It can be easy. It's so for our mind to grasp that things are easy. Hell no.
I think because we've been told that if it's easy, it's just not worth valued, right? You have to work to get something in life.
Yeah.
So we even justify, we got this, but you know, I had to work really hard to get this, but actually really it came easily to you because you were at your best, right?
You were
were
at
in
your
synergy
Yes.
with your thoughts and action.
Yeah, because again, it's a perception whether something is difficult and easy. It's again, you are giving it the name, the title. Things just are. Can you, you know?
And then leads to the men think, was I good enough, right? So men often
Yeah.
think to their woman, was I good enough? True? That's a question men often ask. Was I good? How do you rate me? True?
But how honest are women really?
Oh.
You know, women.
Do women remember, or are they in that moment? Like, for instance, I've been in a relationship with someone who dated the captain of the rugby team, right? And right from the beginning, I was thinking, you know, this size, this, you know, he's healthier, he's fitter. So it didn't get to the right start. Do women judge you that way or no? Do they remember the captain of the rugby team? They do.
Oh yes, they do.
Shit.
I am
I was hoping you
honest.
said-
I am honest. I am not going to lie. I am not sugarcoating things. Women are and can be. We are mean. Like when we are in our women's circle, you don't want to hear those conversations, and I'm being real as hell here. But we are struggling to be honest with the man, and I'm not talking about bashing the guy in front of us. This is never about bashing because this is mean.
You want to hurt their feelings.
You
or-
don't. You want to be, but you know. Also, when you bash someone, what does this person do? The person shuts down to protect themselves, and it moves into
So
the
women
reactor
lies.
mode.
You were amazing. You were the best.
Women lie. Women pretend they're orgasming. This is definitely a fact. They pretend. Sometimes they don't want to have sex. They do it to please their partner.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I know what you're.
I am just being really
I have
honest.
no idea. I've never experienced that, and I'm just joking.
Yeah,
I'm just
but
joking.
you know,
I'm
I
just- probably
was-
a lot of times it's been pretend.
Well, I'm sure you were. I mean, I don't think that there is a man who has not been pretended to.
I'm sure.
And women are really good at it. And you know, as opposed to a guy, men cannot
Can't pretend,
tell
right.
whether if they're really experienced, they can, because women's vaginal muscles start contracting
Yes.
in a certain way when she
And the
comes.
lubrication, the
Yes. So like a man who's really in tune with the woman and with her body, he knows how many really are. How many men?
that's an amazing thing. Again, I've got to be so careful. I don't bring my own experiences on, but to be in tune is a good thing, isn't it? Right? Because when, there are times that I'm with my partner, and I say, maybe she wants to, and I say, but the feeling isn't right. I feel that you're not there,
Yeah.
and I'd rather not.
Yes.
That's a good thing, right?
That's an awesome thing to do.
That's a good-
Yes, because you are not always, as I said, in the mood. You are not always
I'm a
there.
very feeling person. I can feel if the energy is connected or not.
Yes, and all people have this ability. It's just very few know how to tap into it. You know, they just disregard it.
I one of the courses I went to, this is 3 ways that we make love. One is just to get to sleep, just exert and go to sleep. 2 is to connect, and 3 is to fantasize. Now, one thing I realize is that if you talk about it or meditate before, you can fantasize together. The problem is that if one's in need of connection, the other one's in need of fantasy, the other one wants to go to bed, the other one wants to fantasize, they're missing each other. And also when they fantasize, they don't fantasize together on the same thing. Am I correct?
Yes. You fantasize together, you exchange, you can even masturbate together. So you're building up, that momentum. You can tell each other's fantasies. Fantasies are what I call
in a safe place.
They're a safe place, but they're very dark. If people would be really honest with their dark sexual fantasies, it would go all over the place. Because it's a fantasy, it's not considered.
But it doesn't necessarily have, because it's in that 4 walls, right? You can do anything, say anything, and it's in the safe zone of,
It's a safe zone of you and your partner. Whatever feels good and safe for the both of you, do it. And it's so much fun. It's so much fun to be playful, to just, explore everything that is there within your body, within the partner's body, and please someone, just not physically, but on all levels, please.
I was like that, and one of my partners was calling me like, you pervert. You're a pervert. I was like, no, it's just the safety of our room, it's okay. So good, I'm talking to you, I think I'm normal, right?
You are very normal. You're not a pervert. I mean, what is a pervert? That depends also on the woman and what she sees sex as. Again, sexual compatibility. This is why it's so important. It's not the only thing, don't get me wrong,
it's
but
an important fact.
It's important. You can't neglect it.
I think you have to have that. So when you hold that partner's hand, that connection is so powerful because you have that sexual energy, right? It's not just holding hands.
Yes.
It's connecting beings.
Can you be with someone, let's be honest, if you don't have that chemistry, that sexual chemistry, not that desire?
Unless you compromise. Too many people compromise.
They compromise, exactly. But then they go left and right to get what they actually want.
Yes.
So,
and they never get it.
And we are just hiding it in society, So, and this
how
is
do you meet people who are in the same wavelength or similar? Because I worry about my children. I really do. I have 4, from 6 to 27, and I worry about them. And I think, are they going to meet the right partners who understands them? Thank God they're together as kids. They don't have major issues, and we all have issues, but they're not major ones. And I think, God, I hope they're not going to meet people with issues that I met, who who hurt me, who upset me. Is that part of the process? How can they find people who like the aerial? I can tell you if I see a customer is going to be a good client or not.
Yeah.
By the way they speak about money or the past experiences with other suppliers. I said, I wonder, or the punctuality. Does that make sense?
Yes.
How do you do that in a relationship when you meet someone?
Well,
because often people see what they want to see, right? It takes a few boxes, right? Let's get on with it, and then realize it's not.
Well, first off, you have to know what you want. What do you want in a partner? That's number one.
Write it down.
Yes, write down what is important for you in a partner. How do you want to feel with this person? It's more so the feeling. Forget the looks. Just keep the looks on the side, because a partner can show up in many different ways, What do you really want in a man or in a woman? How should this person make you feel? Yeah. What are the values that are crucial for you that they should also reflect? Values like honesty, trust, going towards the same direction. Like, where are we going in life? If one person wants to go to B, but you want to go to A, it's not going to work in the long run.
Yes. And women can feel it, right?
We feel it.
Yeah.
Yes, we feel it.
Men not necessarily feel it.
I think they do too. I think we don't give men enough credit for that. Men have a very good intuition when it comes to women. Men can look at a woman and they put her straight away in 3 categories, and maybe you can confirm or not. She's either just a friend, because there is no sexual chemistry, there is nothing like that. She's someone that they would just hook up with, but not a potential partner. The third one, though, is someone they would also like to hook up with, but they could see her also as a partner. You see, in both there's sex involved. But one has a potential for a wifey, if you want to call it, or partner. The other one is just for the sexual part, which can maybe later turn as well to a partner. But mostly these are the 3 categories when they look at a woman.
And the woman shouldn't get upset. Well, that's the way the men are, right? Because women get like, oh, you want to have sex with me? Yes, but that's just a natural process.
But that's the thing, it's again so funny. Men don't want gold diggers, yet they use their money to attract women. Women don't like to be just classified, for their looks, yet they dress in a way to attract men as well. So what are you doing? Of course we want this recognition. For women, for us, beauty in our body is who we are, not just
You're
only.
fit and you're healthy. Have you
Yes.
ever been with a fat guy?
Never.
Because he doesn't have the same values of health
Yes.
and well-being as you do.
For me,
not
health-
because it's aesthetically.
No. It's as you say, it's the value, because for me health is a sign, or fitness is a sign of someone like working towards something, you know, being active, having goals, going for it, not being lazy. For me, someone who's chubby signifies laziness,
Lack of discipline.
lack of discipline, and that's something I can't deal with. So for me personally, I'm not. It's
Yeah,
all
you're not
okay.
saying, yeah, this-
I
know
don't
what you
want-
mean.
I don't want
Your
people to
values
say-
are here.
Yes.
The other synergy of my values, yeah? So, you know, whatever.
Exactly.
People could be other things. So
They could
I
be other
understand.
things. It's not about
Yeah,
having
but
a
then if
six-
you are regularly in the gym, you're exercising all the time, you want somebody who has the same values as you and the same discipline as you. So it makes
Exactly. It
sense.
doesn't have to have a six pack. I'm not talking
Correct.
about a Rambo here,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Or an Arnold. I'm talking about someone who has these traits that are important for me. Now, of course, there's also a balance, right? If you're someone who's more of a dreamer, more of a creative, you also want a man who's more practical, down to earth, because it complements one another. But the values have to be aligned. If they are not, sooner or later, it's going to crash.
Wow. Amazing. And how do women look at men? Men look at women in three ways. How do women look at men?
Well, women look at men, of course, similar ways, I have to be honest. We look at men also as a sexual potential. We envision them how they are in bed, how they could be.
Really? Oh
We
my
look
God.
at their hands because we want a man that can carry us. We look at their lips because we want a man that we are able to kiss. We look at their eyes, right? And at their whole stature.
But women
their
can
image.
scan without the man even knowing, right?
We scan almost as fast as men scan. You know, men.
No, we are stupid. We go,
Well, men are very, very physical, very physical.
we get
you know?
caught every time.
Yes, but for us, it's the energy of a man, the way
Uh-huh.
he carries himself, the way he holds himself, and the way his energy goes out when he enters a room.
Wow.
It's the manners, it's the energetic manners. It's like seconds that we can see a man whether we like him or not.
Wow.
Just physically speaking now.
Can a man fake it?
Fake what?
All that? Like walking, but you know, like, I'm going to go in this party, I'm going to pick a girl. So I'm going to act like this, I'm going to be like this, and they're going to get attracted to my energy. If they came to your course and you went, right, you have to, 9 out of this, you can have most of the girls in the party.
To be honest, with a woman like me, a man can't fake it. But because I'm very conscious and I'm very observant, I'm not a reactor, I'm a responder. And I'm
You see the
observant.
cracks.
I see through. I see through a person. I don't see like your face, your body. I see your energy, and I see your entire it's seconds. I can sense if someone is authentically being who they
They're real
are,
or not.
even if they're really good actors, or if there's something inside of them that is not right. But if you are a woman that is not conscious, that doesn't observe things like that, yes, you can fall for that trap.
Yes.
Easy, even vice versa. you
That's
know.
another thing, is another thing, conditioning. When the woman falls for that trap, it could be that she could have great sex with a guy. Okay? She falls for the trap because she's been misled, right? Society says that men are taking advantage of women. True, but it's not necessarily that way, because women enjoy it too if it's, it's invited, if it's allowed. Am I correct?
You are correct. And what is being misled? You know, when you say someone is being misled, often puts you into a victim position. I've been
Which
misled.
you said, I have become a victim at the beginning of our interview, before our interview.
Yes.
That's not an attractive thing in a man.
It's not an attractive thing, but it's also, why do you see yourself as a victim? Why do you want to be even a victim? Don't you think you have the power within yourself to change things, to see things? And maybe if you were misled, maybe it can happen. It can happen to
But
everyone.
you can get out of that.
You get out, it's okay. You know, I fell for it. It was attractive for me in this moment. I enjoyed it. It's all right. Nothing, it's okay. You know, and you move on.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes you feel powerful.
That's the power. That's knowing who you are and dealing with things, and even, you know, like just accepting things as they are without judging them constantly.
Amazing. You'll be in a happier place.
You will be in a so much more relaxed place, because you know that who you are and your power, your feeling good and well-being is not depending on someone else's actions, non-actions and behavior.
Does size matter?
You want the truth?
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Yes.
It does matter.
Yes.
Do women secretly say it does?
Yes. Yes.
Huge is not good, is it? Too huge.
No. I mean, it depends again. Every woman is built is built differently.
Yeah, you're going, oh my God, I've never had an interview like this. But you are learning a lot here.
Take notes.
Yeah.
No, but truth to be spoken, every woman is built differently. So for some women, a big size is awesome. For others, it's painful. They don't enjoy it. They want a small one.
Does it matter what the man does with it?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, it does.
You can have the biggest one. If you don't know what you're doing down there, I mean, it's just going to be...
And again, there's no courses for that.
No.
Just porn.
But again,
which is the worst thing you could do.
Everyone is different. And you know, women, we have all those nerve strings in our pelvis that go again from our brain, spine down to the pelvis. So those nerve strings are concentrated in different areas differently. That's why some women can easily orgasm through, vaginal clitoris.
Yes.
Others more through the cervix.
Yes.
Others anal, So some don't feel anything in other areas, while others, they go crazy there. And that depends on your nerve strengths, not necessarily your preference.
Do you develop your nerve strengths in different areas?
It's more biological. You can train them through Yoni X. So that's why I use, and I always recommend for every woman to use Yoni X, because it's just for female health. It should be one of your best friends.
Okay.
And it can sensitize your nerve strengths. You just feel different. Like
Yoni eggs.
It's called Yoni Eggs. Yes, and I'm currently working on my website, so I'm going to have Yoni Eggs for sale as well. I want to bring them to each and every...
Can you bring them in this country?
You can order them.
That's facial massages.
You can order them.
Toothbrushes.
No, luckily
I've seen them in
you
Virgin.
You can. But they have also those Kegels. So it's also promoting for women after delivery, after birth, because it's really good for your health. It closes the parts, sooner, and it allows you to actually feel arousal down there more. So again, size matters. But it won't matter for every woman, because just big, it's not going to work for everyone.
And of course, you said it's always energy. Always energy. Connecting,
Always.
pace, timing, everything.
Everything.
So there's no right time. Some people want quicker, some people long, but it's connecting and knowing what your partner wants.
It's communication, trust, confidence, and surrender. Sex is about surrender.
Wow.
Not being in your head, drop into your body. Stop thinking. Stop thinking. Surrender to the process. Just allow things.
Create a safe environment and allow.
All about safe environment, especially for women.
Wow. What are the most common questions people ask you as clients? Women.
Women, the biggest question they ask me is, how can I trust myself more? Very surprisingly. A lot of women really don't. We are so societal conditioned.
That comes like believing themselves. Is that what you mean?
It's believing in yourself, but also having, the trust to go for what you want in life. This is one of the traits I love in men. Man, they see something, they go for it, they're go-getters, and I admire this. We women hold ourselves back a lot.
You can still be a woman and be a go-getter.
Yes, you can be both, but you can do your goal-gettings differently. We do it different than men. Right? It's more leaning back and doing what you have to do. Of course, it's not falling on your lap just like that.
Yes.
But it's the energy you exude while doing this is different. Then orgasms, sexually being really allowing yourself to be open, to experience this inner Shakti, to have the best.
So people come and say, like, for instance, I constantly pretend with my husband.
Yes, one of women's deepest desires, and I'm really talking out about toolbox here, is to be everything for their men, to be the best woman they ever had.
So he doesn't have to go anywhere else.
That's one big subconscious fear of women, because obviously there's a lot of beautiful women out there. And how do you make yourself unique especially when you grow older? And this is one of my biggest parts in my job, is removing this competitive. Yeah.
Also,
attitude.
Men don't. Well, I think real men don't look at it like that. As women get older, and there's a connection, it strengthens.
Yes,
the bond to me.
It strengthens, of course,
yeah,
and you
not
can't
the other way,
always...
because it's not by looks. Again, you can be with the nicest, most attractive women, and after once, you don't want to go back.
There is a saying: show me the most beautiful woman in the world, and I'll show you a man who's tired of fucking her. Yeah. And that is real shit. That is real talk. Now, we are not going to say that looks are not important. We do. That's the first thing we see. I'm not going to lie, right? But it's not everything. And we need to again honor the natural process of aging. Just because we're getting older, we don't have to look that way.
unless you're 85, then you know, and
I
you got no
mean,
teeth left.
you can preserve your looks and your youth
Yeah, and
as
your
much.
implants are the only things that stand out.
Yeah, and
in
we
this
all
family.
like to look young. Nobody likes to look old. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. And it's there are things go to plastic surgery. There's so many
Yes.
things you can do, but
Yes.
you know, but still do it with grace.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't lose your identity.
And
There's
again,
too many people who don't look real anymore.
they look like clones.
Yeah.
I personally, when I see those women who have too much done, they all
Yes.
look the same.
I find it sad.
It's yeah, it depends. If you do it because it really makes you feel good, really you like it, even again, I'm clapping for you. But if you do it because of pressure, because you want to look a certain way that naturally you don't, again, what's really going on inside of you? You know, because we women are so beautiful creatures. I mean, honestly, I work with women all the time, and whether it's through dancing or through tantric healing or coaching, they're so beautiful. Their bodies, their skin, their smell, their sensitivity. And I'm a woman, and I'm amazed, and I can
Yeah,
only
the
imagine how
beauty.
men
Yeah.
perceive us, right? And we have to go back into this power again of, damn, we are so special, and every woman is unique. No, not one woman is the same.
But it takes time to take away all those layers that have been built over years.
These layers.
I went on
yes.
a Tony Robbins course in Bahamas, and there was 2,000 women there. And every 5 minutes or every couple of minutes, we had to vote half out. Okay, and men were the only ones voting. And he got to the last, there was beautiful models there and stuff. And he got to the last 10, and there was like 8 and 9 really attractive. There was a woman who was 8.5 months pregnant.
Wow.
Okay, and they're all dancing. And she got voted the sexiest woman.
Yeah.
All the men found, and all the models, miniskirts, doing this, doing that, all the men found the 8.5 month pregnant woman the most sexiest.
Do you know why?
She was most feminine.
Exactly.
She was happy being a woman.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much. That's the answer.
She was happy being a woman.
Yeah. She was happy. She was in her essence. Because that's what it means to be really feminine. And I believe every woman who's ever been pregnant, unless they obviously had a difficult pregnancy, in general, this is the feeling.
Have you had children?
Unfortunately, not. I do hope to have them one day. I do want to really experience that, and I would love to be a mom, at least to one child. But when you see beautiful women, they radiate something different. They're like in it, and that's why men are attracted to this feminine essence.
Yeah, amazing.
You know, that's
And it didn't have anything to do with her figure or anything else. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Whether you have small breasts or big breasts, whether you have big lips or small lips, who cares? It's
It was
your
the
energy. People are attracted to energy, and men are attracted to feminine women.
And honestly, the way she was dancing, she wasn't trying to impress anyone. She was just happy being. Yeah, even now,
Wow.
10 years later, I remember it was amazing.
Wow, it's so beautiful.
Also, I remember there was another exercise that he did. There was a man on stage. Oh, they did the same with the men. And there was like 10 men, muscle, good-looking bodybuilders, and the women chose the one who was the most normal looking. And they said because we could trust him. He had a nice smile. We could trust him. He had a nice smile. Yeah, that was it. And he wasn't great looking, great body, nothing.
And do you know why that is?
Safe.
Safety is one thing, but also a man doesn't need to be handsome. A man needs to be, for us, a man, whatever it means for each woman respectively. And women more than men, we subconsciously from a very young age always live with this awareness that we can be attacked physically. Because women are more prone to be physically attacked than men.
Yes.
So we will rarely go in the nights in certain cities, into a corner if there is
Yes.
nobody. It's just this constant awareness of protecting ourselves.
Like fear of fire or heights.
Yes.
It's within women.
It's within women. That's why safety, whether we are aware of it or not consciously, is our number one. Even with men, we always seek for a man that we can trust, that makes us feel safe and protected. Goes again back to archetypes. I don't care if we're in the 21st century or not. This is our natural instinct. It cannot be taken away.
Wow. Amazing. I got all emotional then.
Oh.
I did not have to Okay, moving on. Do you know how long we've been? Like 3 hours, and I didn't even realize how long we've been. How long we've been? 1 hour. Amazing. I'm loving this. So, and the good thing is RTA told me I don't have to pay for my parking, so we can stay a bit longer.
Yes.
One thing I remember was interesting. This man, Tony said, choose somebody in the audience. And he chose someone, and she stood up and says, like, communicate there through your eyes. And they were looking. There was a camera on her, camera on him. It was, they're on the wall, and there was no connection. Then he whispered something in his ear, and suddenly she went,
Mm-hmm.
And the whole audience, I was like, my God, what happened? What happened? Because he didn't communicate anything to the woman that couldn't even hear it. Do you know what he said?
What?
He said, tell her through your eyes that I'm going to have the best sex that you've never had with you. And I'm going to make you feel totally satisfied and really believe it. And the way he looked at her changed. And she felt it.
It's called soul gazing. I do this a lot in my workshops. It's beyond powerful. That's what I was talking about.
Soul gazing.
Soul gazing. It's very popular practice. That's what I was talking about, that these bodies are avatars, yes. Right? Soul, the soul is that. And genetically, we have all, in general, or not genetically, maybe spiritually, we have the ability to be telepathically communicating with others. So soul gazing is without communication, just looking into each other's eyes.
Yes.
Shutting down the mind and just allowing. I had people crying suddenly while sitting in front of someone because they could feel their pain. They could feel their sadness.
Or gratitude, or friendship,
gratitude,
yes.
or love, or they get a compliment and they started suddenly blushing, you know? So it is so powerful. And if you can do that in your life, within your partner, with your partner before sex even, I mean, just try it. Like,
it's freaking discipline, isn't it? You got to find the time for some us time, right? So set the time for that connection, set the time for that meditation, set the time for that communication, set the environment right, and then you have the best experience ever.
I mean, it's okay to sometimes just meet at home and just bang.
Yeah,
and,
on the
you know,
kitchen.
that's okay.
Yeah, that ticks one box, right?
It's also sometimes fun to just do that. It doesn't
Yes.
need to be constantly like a ritual you make out of
yes.
it, but that's the real, where the real cookie is, you know? Where the
Main
real,
course.
Yes, the main course, yes.
And it always helps to be away from home.
That too. A little bit of distance helps as well sometimes.
Different environments.
People to be apart, but then also need together be somewhere else. Yes. New environment. I mean, for me, for example, Bali is incredible. It's just so much feminine energy that runs there. Women feel very connected to their sexuality when they're there.
Do you hold group courses?
I used to before Corona, because for COVID, I was doing workshops, and I was actually planning to do one in Bali this year, which didn't happen because of Corona. Mm-hmm. Now I'm planning actually to do one in Croatia in the summer, but again, nobody knows what's going to happen. So
at the moment you're doing one-to-one?
One-to-one, yes.
Zoom or face-to-face?
Both, yeah.
Would you like to do this again?
Yes.
I have. Isn't it friggin' amazing? Yes. It's not my favorite subject, but we shall continue this, Anita. Amazing. So please tell us, female audiences at the moment. We're going to talk about maybe doing male courses or couples later on, but right now you have female courses, women's courses.
Yeah.
If they're watching now and they want to connect with you, what most women are going through right now? So it was orgasm, it was fulfillment, confidence, trust within themselves, and what was the third? I apologize, I stopped you.
The third one was being, again, actually in their power, getting out of the man mode. I have a lot of women who are divorced, who are single moms.
They have responsibilities.
They have to be the man and
fear,
the woman.
Yes.
Yes, and they are depleted. They are exhausted. They just want to feel again like a woman, like in all possible lives. I have a woman. She is a surgeon as well, and she works in oncology. At the same time, she's a single mom. She says, I don't even know anymore what it feels to be a woman. What does it feel even to have sex, to have an orgasm? I don't know anything. So I have these cases a lot of women who are in unhappy marriages, who want to, again, break free. Because when you are in a marriage that's falling apart, you don't feel desired.
Yeah.
You don't feel anymore wanted by this man.
And you associate maybe negativity.
Yes. So it's a lot. Women, you know, it's again the time, and I can feel it, where women want to go back into really who they are, without this constant sense of competition with other women, without the constant pressure of work, without running around like headless chicken. Women want to connect more.
And also, I guess most people don't. We're talking about people over 30 who don't want to go out every night on the hunt, and you know, they just want quality in their lives. And I love to talk about dating sites and things with you. I know that I'm tempted, but I'm going to leave something for the audience, because lots of people are going on dating sites and they're choosing relationships based on few text messages, emails, and I don't think it's fantastic, but we can talk about it next time. I think it's a shame that the old-fashioned way of going out meeting people and see if that attractiveness is there, that connection is there, is no longer so popular now. It's just more
It isn't because,
convenience of swipe to the left, swipe to the right.
But the swipe to the left, swipe to the right was based on the principle of our human mating strategy that we, select someone within the first 3 seconds.
Can you do that from a photograph? Because people come and say, "Oh, the photograph was nothing like the person."
No, I mean, I'm not an online dating fan. Never have been. Of course, I tried it as well, but for me, my real partnerships, my long relationships were always people I met in person because I need to see them. I need to see how they use their hands when they talk, how their voices. For me, going on a blind date, so to speak, just seeing pictures, it works for some people.
But what I hate? If I'm doing interviews, let's say 7 or 8 interviews in a day.
Yeah.
By the afternoon, I've forgotten the first person I interviewed. So what you find out, the pattern is that most people hire the last people they see.
Yes.
So if you're on a dating site, you go choice. You go Monday, Tuesday, this. What chance has the Monday guy got? Because when your Monday girl is sitting and she's thinking, tomorrow I've got Steve and I've got James and I've got John and Fred, the guy in front hasn't got a chance because she's already thinking about Monday, Tuesday. Am I making sense?
But you know why? Because our brain doesn't like too many choices. It's called the paradox of choice. Right. We can't comprehend having too many of them. That's why we need to limit it. It's the same like go to a grocery store, try to buy yourself a shampoo. How many different brands and shampoos are there? Yes, you might try 5, 6, 7, 8 of them just because you're curious. You like to try new things. Yes. But you will always stick to the one that you like the best. And it's similar in dating. It's nothing wrong with going out there and exploring, but also I believe a lot of people have started using this to cover up their emotional issues, to have easy and quick gratifications, and just to have multiple choices. I'm bored tonight, let me swipe. Yeah. Who is ready?
Where's the quality?
It works for some again, but I believe for the majority it does not, because I am seeing more and more people, single people, really being sad and struggling to find the right partner. So before we did not have that, and I'm not old-fashioned person, but I do believe personally that the old times, and I watched a movie actually, I love romance movie from the 80s, and I was watching it, how easy it was for people back then to connect.
Which movie was it?
Oh, funny, it was on Netflix, it was before Christmas. I will look it up and I'll tell you if it's still there. It was like a movie. It was quite sad in the end because she passed away.
Love story.
It was a love story.
It wasn't a love story, was it? With Ryan O'Neal. She got cancer and died.
Oh yes.
He sat on a park bench.
Yes, yes. Oh my God, how do you know? Yeah,
Ryan O'Neal.
Bravo,
yeah.
exactly.
Ali McNeil. She's gorgeous, dark hair.
There you go.
She's over 80 now. She's still beautiful.
Yes, but
Ryan O'Neal's 80.
Yeah, but these old things, because
she got.
I remember. I was watching. I didn't know it was a sad ending. Yes, and I was like, "Damn you, Netflix!" Like if I knew she would die out of cancer, because I don't.
But she bloody dragged her death. Oh my God! Want to just find out at the end? Want to just like 2/3 of the movie she's dying? I was like, freaking depressing.
Yeah, it was. But I didn't even I think I finished it, but then I was like, moving it forward, the cursor, because I just didn't want to go through this.
Do you know she was married to Steve McQueen?
Yeah, Steve McQueen.
Ali somebody.
It wasn't Ali McBeal. Ali McBeal was
Ali's
from the
program.
She had dark hair.
Ali something.
She had dark hair in that movie.
Yeah, it's Ali something. It's something. I'll send you a message.
Yeah.
She was married to Steve McQueen.
Yeah, exactly. But as I go back to the dating, I just believe that social media doesn't make it easy. Before a man, if he sees a high quality woman, he will make sure that she is his. Whereas nowadays, they have so many options. Oh no, wait, I want to see someone is better, and it's difficult. One friend of mine, and it became one of my favorite slogans. He said something. He said, "Women decide whether there will be sex or not. Men decide whether there will be a relationship or not."
Wow, you say yes to sex anytime, right?
And that is spot on.
Wow.
That is spot on. And that's why, you can be the most gorgeous woman. If a man doesn't choose you, you won't have a relationship. He has to choose.
It's tougher for women, I guess.
Because
they want to higher notch.
They want to higher, but that's the thing. Men say for women it's easier. Women say for men it's easier.
Yeah, both cry foul. And also, I've never seen somebody who's actually said it's easy for us.
Yeah.
I think for women, because if somebody's attractive, men are the hunters, so a lot more come.
Men are the hunters, but if you're not giving them anything to hunt,
or you're just picking up the The shitty
Men like to,
hunters.
men need the dopamine release, right? Men need to feel that like the
Conquered,
achiever. We
yes,
have
exactly.
conquered it. And if you give him everything he wants, just like that, without
That's why one night stands don't work, right? Because the man got what he wanted, is off he goes.
Rarely.
Telephone call, I found somebody else, thank you so much.
Rarely, because you already
Make
given him
it
everything.
yeah.
I'm not talking about living a life
Agreed.
in celibacy, but man, just be a little. Use your discernment.
Yes,
be
get
smart.
it.
Be
Get it.
smart about
Yes.
it. Don't give him everything. And if he doesn't want to work for it, then he wasn't in it for something else in the first place.
It's amazing. In business, it's so easy. I say to them, right, when somebody phones you up, you go to a hairdresser.
Yeah.
Okay? You look over the counter and the diary is empty. What's the first thing you're thinking? They're going to be a crap hairdresser.
Yeah,
Right?
pretty much.
Because they're available all the time.
Yes.
You go to the same hairdresser, the diary is fully booked. You think, I hope they can squeeze me in.
Yes.
Same atmosphere, but the damn diary dictates whether you want to fit in or not.
Yes.
True?
True.
The same thing with life. I say to my salespeople, if your diary is empty, somebody phones up and says, let me check my diary as I'm really busy.
Yes.
And then
it's
they
smart.
then they want you more.
Yeah, it's a smart strategy. That's why for women, you have. That's why when I say you need to date multiple men, not sleep with multiple men.
Yeah.
Date them because you don't get attached to one.
You have to kiss a
particular.
few frogs, right? Before you meet the prince.
A man has
You don't
to
have
conquer
to
you.
give him everything.
Exactly, and this is particularly crucial
I'm a
in the
guy, I'm
beginning.
saying this, yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice to have a man who actually says this, because when I was doing posts like this, I had a lot of men, even in a joking case, saying, "No, let them chase, let them work." Men became lazy because women started chasing after guys, and again, it's about energy. If you are a woman that's more in her masculine, there are women naturally more masculine. There's nothing wrong with that. They can chase after a guy that's more in his feminine because he will like that. So this can work. But if you're a full-on feminine woman and
Yeah,
you
oh
are
my
a masculine
God, can you imagine
man,
the power in between?
yeah,
Amazing.
and this man is not
Nuclear.
going to want a woman that he can get just
Easy,
like-
yeah. There's
Yeah, he will take
many of them
her.
out there,
He will
but
take
not the
her.
relationship.
but not for something more
Yeah.
than what he can get or what he wants to get, So it goes back to basic human nature. And yes, the times have changed, our dating scene has changed, but our basic human
Are the same.
function has remained.
I speak to Dr. John Gray,
Yeah.
and I think he was the original Men Are From Mars, Women From Venus.
Yeah.
And he says, look, we're built differently. Why do you expect us to act the same?
Exactly.
Right? We're built differently.
Exactly. That's the
But you
reason.
can be at peace with both and ease at your best as your being.
It's the same thing with the book. I forgot the author. Why Men Marry Bitches.
Yes, I've read it, yes.
It's awesome, and it's not
Yes.
because what is a bitch? Again, it's a classified term, right?
Yeah, and also why women are attracted to bitches. There's another one out as well, isn't there?
Yeah,
recently?
but what are bitches really in their core?
They just
Bitches,
make people work for it a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're not.
they
here
know
you
their
are.
worth, they
Yeah.
know their value. I'm not talking about their delivery, about their behavior. Oh, I will break my nail. This is how we actually usually look at this. No, a bitch is a woman who is in her power. She knows what she wants. She doesn't take no for an answer, and she doesn't accept breadcrumbs from men. That's what men love, but she does it in a loving, feminine way, not in an aggressive, masculine way. Why men who are very much masculine don't like women attacking them, other than feeling shit, of course, it's because when you do this as a woman, you push him into his feminine. He doesn't like being there.
Fuck, that's amazing.
He
You know,
doesn't.
one thing I don't like being told that I can't be trusted, and trust is the most valuable thing I have.
Yeah.
I'm the most trustworthy. I hate being told that I can't trust you. You know, and I hate that because justification, when it's so against your values,
I mean, how do you know if you can trust someone? Is trusting them.
just letting it go and
You
see.
have to do. I mean, what
Yeah.
can you do? You can't protect yourself from this if it happens.
Absolutely. And if you're so defending, you can never enjoy the process anyway because you're constantly protecting yourself.
Exactly. You're constantly protecting. Yeah.
Yeah, they said, most people say, I'm protecting my heart. So how can your heart grow without being hurt, right?
That's the thing. You need the darkness in order for the light to shine.
Wow.
It doesn't go the other way. Like, you need the dark and you need the light. Without the light, you can't see the darkness when it's not there, because if the light is
And
gone,
the
it's
dark used to be celebrated.
And dark
You
is
say, I'm
so
going through dark
celebrated.
times. Celebrate your frigging dark times,
Celebrate.
right?
These are the times that will make you grow. It's not the
Yes.
light and the easy times in your life that will make you
Yes.
grow.
Yes.
Darkness is needed in
Yes.
this world.
I swear, when I'm down, I'm in the gym.
Yeah.
When I'm down, I'm watching what I eat.
Yes.
When I'm down, I'm 5 o'clock in the morning here. It's freaking crazy. And then when I'm comfortable, I'm relaxed.
You know why? Because when you're in the darkness, you're more aware. your survival instinct kicks in. But you're not put necessarily in a state of fear unless you put yourself there,
Yes.
but you're put in a state of awareness.
Wow.
You are more like a hunter who goes out to hunt. He has to be aware of any dangerous animals around, but he still has to focus on what he's hunting.
Yes.
It's a similar state you are in when you appreciate the darkness, because it's there whether you want it or not.
Do you know what's incredible is that if 30% of your energy is sexual energy, if people were at ease with it and combine it with the other 70%, how powerful they could be.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? We are not operating out of our power, not even a little bit.
And it'll be at ease. It'll be ease. They'll be waltzing through, dancing through life.
Sex has been dogmatized. It has been dogmatized for years, especially, God forbid, women talking about it openly and publicly.
You see, I would have thought being in this area, although I know gynecologists who specialize in the O shot and all this, who are doing amazingly secretly, but you're on social media, and I'd love to at the end say how people can connect with you.
Yes.
Is it the wrong market for you, or is it the perfect market?
To be honest, it is a very good market for me. I mean, people are saluting my courage to do this here, but I think they also underestimate a lot of the openness that is here.
Yes.
And I'm not, putting out vulgar statements, or I'm not, posting naked pictures, not even anything, but I'm talking about topics that are based on research, based on science.
May I beg you?
Yeah.
Treat some men and get them to give you feedback on your site.
Okay.
Like I had sessions with, and it was amazing. I developed this, and suddenly the men see you in a different light. Not a shit, but you're a business, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to get approached in the wrong angles, so people will understand how you can enhance their lives, whether male, female, or couples. Just saying.
Yeah, I think I have to.
From men would be so amazing, because again, if you say I specialize in women, why alienate me? Because I need you.
Well, I started with women first because I wanted to help women to break free from those insecurities, because it's seriously, it's a disease amongst women.
Yes.
It's this insecurity, this constant doubt of oneself.
Yes.
Not being good enough, not being worthy. It's a serious issue. But the more I work on, especially in my niche, which is about sexuality, confidence, and all of that, the more men are approaching me, and I would love to help men. But that's why even in my social media, I'm throwing out more videos than pictures, because I don't want to be just perceived as another wannabe Instagram model, which you are if you're just posting pretty pictures, but I'm bringing actually more videos out.
And also, by the way, videos have 8 times more attraction than...
Yes, they have more attraction. People actually resonate with you. They pick up on your energy, and you get more engagement as opposed to just posing cute, or sexy. So
I actually scroll past your photographs and I watch your videos.
That's why one of my friends, he actually told me, you are so good in what you do, but if you keep posting pictures, people will never even know. So he actually really kicked in. I was like, you're so right. He was right, and he's a man. Yeah. He said what they see is this perfect body, perfect, and exclamation marks.
Healthy,
fit. They see this woman and they put you straight away into a box. They don't even read the caption to understand how powerful and how knowledgeable you are and what you do. And he's like, but he has such a point.
I love the ones that's just your face, talking to the camera, educated. I love those.
That's it. And I love this constructive feedback. Yes. He's right. He's like, you're not a freaking doll. You actually know what you're doing.
You just have to have gifts, or God's giving you good hands.
You have to know what you're doing. And the more work I do and the more results I provide, the more confident I also become in my work. I wasn't so confident in the beginning because, you go out there to a pool of coaches, pool of women who do maybe even similar things, but then nobody does what I do in the way I do it, because it's only one me in this world, and even in the combination that I do it is not there. So I started really owning that even if you have 10 other women doing similar things, nobody can do it like you, and that counts for everyone.
I'm not kissing ass here, but you do it with class.
Oh,
you don't cheapen it.
No,
if you did, I wouldn't follow, I wouldn't communicate, and you do it with class and you educate, which is really important. So
it's important in this topic.
And I'm thinking every time I watch it, I'm like, how's she coming out with this more content? And there's so much. I could go on 5 hours talking to you, asking you questions.
Yeah, it's a lot of content, but I like to do it with class first. It's my personality.
Yes.
But it's also especially, I think, important in this topic to bring it out with class, as opposed to, just another woman talking
just
about
promise
this.
Me you'll do couples and men.
I will. I promise.
There's lots of pain out there, and I know many, including myself, who need guidance. It's just like a personal trainer. I'll go to the gym. I'll do 9 reps with a personal trainer. I'll do 11. Everybody needs guidance.
I actually do have a first male client which is awesome. Really happy that I have him. He's the first, and he's a big executive actually based in Abu Dhabi. So it's awesome, to have those. And I'm definitely, thank you for this. I'm going to do it.
Thank you so much. If people want to connect with you, Anita, how can you please tell the camera how they can connect with you?
Yes, so you can connect with me on my social media. I have Instagram under Anita _ is it underdash? Underscore,
Underscore, is it?
Underscore. So Anita _ Milovac.
How do you say Milovac?
Milovac.
Milovac. VAC, Milovac.
Mother, India, Lima, Oscar, Victor, Alpha, Charlie.
Thank you.
And then, of course, I have Facebook, I have LinkedIn, so most of the social media, TikTok lately, so you can connect with
TikTok
me.
now. Okay.
TikTok.
Great. I need to go on TikTok. And my phone's ringing, believe it
Yes!
or not. It's probably the RTA guy telling me, did you know we changed our mind? We've got you 3 fines on your car. Anita, absolute honor, absolute pleasure. And I loved every second of it. Would you come again in a couple of weeks?
Oh, definitely.
We continue and take this to the next level.
I'd love that.
Done?
Thank you so much for having me.
Namaste. Thank you so much. Thank you, Yahya, as always.